and welcome back to another TeaCosyFolk vlog with me, Suzy Cowper. And it's November and there's lots to talk about today. I've got tea cozies and magazines and new yarn, and I want to talk to you about the Harrogate show and calendars, and there's so much to cram in. So I need to stop blathering on and get down to it. And because it's November, our thoughts turn to Remember It's Sunday. And if you bought last year's TeaCosyFolk calendar, this month is the poppy month. So you'll be knitting a poppy to cover a Terry's chocolate orange. This one's actually on one of my rice oranges, and the pattern's still on the website. It's on the freebie page. So I'll put a link to that below. So if you want to make rice bags instead of chocolate oranges, do you know what? They do last longer. No one's eaten this in all the time I've had it. But people do tend to pick them up and start to play with them. They like them. They like to, I don't know, juggle and stuff. But anyway, so it's the poppy, and the poppy's got 4 lovely red leaves, petals. They're not leaves. It's got 4 lovely red petals and the black centre. And you know, poppies have that fluffy bit around the seed pod, and this has got a little fluffy bit. It's not a special wool. It's a row of loopy stitch but afterwards you cut the loops and unravel the fibres, and it gives you this lovely little fluffy effect. And that's the poppy, and that's what you'll be knitting this month if you've got this year's TeaCosyFolk calendar. And also from the same calendar, the mushroom knitting pattern is now a standalone downloadable knitting pattern from the website. It went on the website this Thursday, the 7th of November. I'm just checking my dates. I can't always remember things properly. But this is the little toadstool, and he's got a nice red top and little spots, and it's really cute. And for people who like fairies and, you know, fairy houses and little toadstools, it's lovely, you know. And they're really popular, aren't they? They turn up in computer games and everywhere, don't they? Little red topped toadstools. So that's in last year's this year's calendar. This year's, I sold it last year, but it's people are knitting it this year. And there's a new calendar, and this is for next year, and I've got a few left still, and they're on the website for sale now. And I do ship them internationally, but if you are not living in the UK and you order one, I'll email you and tell you what the cost will be to ship the calendar to you. Or if you look on Etsy, they're for sale there with shipping already included to destinations outside the UK. So I'll put both links down below. So there's one to buy it directly from the TeaCosyFolk website or from Etsy. So, but it's a great calendar. There's 12 little projects in. So for November, I can't remember what you would be knitting. Let's have a look. So for November, it's the unicorn. So, you know, there's something new project in it every month. So it's fun, and all the knitting patterns there, and there's loads of room for writing dates and parties and appointments. So they're online now. So if you would like a calendar, pop along, go and order one. At TeaCosyFolk headquarters, it's all gone Christmassy. I've got my gold sparkly jumper on, and we're all thinking Christmas thoughts. And I've been working on a tea cosy for Christmas, and she's based on Santa Claus's wife, Mrs. Claus, and that's why she's all red. But I did want her to look really festive, and she's a hand bell ringer. You know, there's lots of hand bell ringers. And I've been in touch with some of the organisations, just asking, you know, what colour gloves did they wear, and about the bells, and, you know, just because I wanted her to be correct, you know. I didn't want her to look wrong. So there she is. She's Mrs. Claus, and she's got her red top on and a little white necktie, and her hair is all bobbly, because I thought, you know, she must be getting on a bit now. So she's got a curly, I bet she's got a perm, hasn't she? That's what Mrs. Claus does. She's got grey hair, and all around her dress at the bottom there's holly leaves and holly berries. Look, the little berries, and they're all knitted in. So when you come, you know, you do start at the bottom and you work up, and then you do the lip, and then you come on to the holly leaf. Oh, you do the berries first. So you do the berries, and then you come along and do the holly leaves, and then a bit later on, after you've done apple, after you've done some apple, you catch in the holly leaves so that it opens them out and holds them in place. So there's not as much sewing up as you think. So if you're one of those knitters who aren't keen on the sewing up process, this is the perfect tea cosy for you. It does mean that there's a little bit more knitting that's a bit perhaps trickier than, you know, other tea cosies. But there is a help video to show you how to do the berries and the holly. And I do think, you know, if you're knitting a Christmas tea cosy, it needs to be a bit special, which probably means that it is a bit tricky and a bit complicated and a bit intricate, you know, and you want it to be a bit intricate, so it is a special tea cosy. And this tea cosy, you know, because of that, it does make it quite special. But she's special in another way as well. She's got anti-wobble head technology. I've been working on something to stop heads being so wobbly, because, you know, when people message me about sewing up tips, their number one bugbear is that the head wobbles. And of course you've got one round object being sewn to another, so of course there's not much there to grab hold of and keep level. You know, they're two round surfaces. And my advice is always to put the cast on edge of the head downwards. Don't sew it up, keep it open, so you've got a ring rather than, you know, a ball shape. And that helps with the anti-wobble. But on this, the main tea cosy, after I've decreased and come in, there's like a little stalk coming up into the head. So effectively you've got a peg for the head to sit onto a peg, and that kind of is helping with the anti-wobble. But the problem is that it's a round teapot, and that the knobs on the top of the teapot lids are quite prominent, look. So it's very difficult. You've got a very small surface to get the head to sew onto, and some teapots, you know, their lids, their knobs on the lids are more prominent than others. You know, they stick up even more, and it just makes the problem worse. But I'm trying to solve wobbly heads, you know, and she's the first, but it is kind of backward compatible. Once you've knitted one with the anti-wobble head, you'll see how it works. And if you've got another tea cosy pattern with the head at the centre top, you'll be able to think, oh, well, this is where I just do a stalk. And, you know, you'll see. Get the pattern, knit one, and you'll see what I mean. But going forward, I will be doing the anti-wobble on patterns where it's possible. Anyway, that's all that. But she's the hand bell ringer tea cosy. Towards the end of October, I was sent some lovely yummy yarn from Yarnalia, and this is Yarnalia Wonder DK, and it comes from America. And I was asked if I sent, you know, they sent me some yarn, if I would design a tea cosy. Oh, and I jumped at the chance. Look at it, it's lovely. And this yarn is 30% wool and 70% acrylic. So with that little bit of wool content in there, I think it's probably a little bit warmer for the teapots. You know, I think it might keep them a little bit warmer, but it's lovely to knit with. It's really nice and soft, and it knits up really nicely. And I have designed a tea cosy, as I was asked. And this is a fir tree tea cosy, and it's for a mini-sized teapot because, I don't know, we don't have many mini-sized teapot knitting patterns. And, you know, lots of people just want a tea cosy for a little sized teapot, you know, and they're nice for gifting, you know, for Christmas. If you've got a little teapot to give to somebody, maybe they live alone, or maybe they're the only person in the house that drinks tea. And this would be the perfect gift, wouldn't it? A cute little teapot with a nice fir tree tea cosy. And it's obviously been snowing. It's snow covered, this fir tree. And it's covered, excuse me, it's covered in little pink pine cones. And in the summer, I went to one of those open gardens, you know, that Monty Don talks about on the telly. And there was one open near me. And I went along to have a look, and it was a lovely day, beautiful garden, but the weather was a bit drizzly. But there was a lovely pine tree in the garden with purple pine cones, bright purple they were. Oh, they were beautiful. They were just as beautiful as flowers on this tree. It was amazing. And when I got home, I Googled it, and it was a Korean fir tree, and they have these big chunky pine cones. And then I had a little look around on Google, and, you know, I always thought pine cones were brown. You know, they're the ones we find in the countryside near us. But actually, they can be pink and blue, and it was a real eye-opener. So I thought, oh, I can do a snowy fir tree with lovely pink pine cones. So, you know, that was brilliant, and it's turned out to be such a lovely tea cosy. And all the little texture for the tree is all knitted in. And I've made a help video, so if you need help, I'll put a link to the video down below so you can have a look. But it's really easy. Once you've seen it done, you'll find it a breeze. And yeah, so it makes a lovely little tea cosy, and it's knitted in Yarnalia Wonder DK, and you'll find it for sale on Amazon. They have it. And yeah, they've got loads. So other colours as well. So have a look, check them out. But it's lovely yarn, you'll like it, and it's really nice. And look, look at the end result, you can see it just looks beautiful. And that's the fir tree tea cosy, and that'll be on the website on the 28th of November. So if you want to knit one, maybe you want to knit one as a gift to give away for Christmas, the pattern will be available then. Sticking with Christmas, have you got this month's Simply Knitting magazine? I think it's issue 257. I'm not sure, I'll check, I'll put it down below. But this is this month's copy, and there is a knitting pattern in from me, from Suzy Cowper, and it's for a hot water bottle cover. And it's a Christmassy design because it's a little house in Christmas, and there's a little Santa, and he's like one of those little dolls, you know, where you don't knit the arms, you sew through to create arms, and it looks like they've got their hands in their pockets. There's a little Santa, and he's attached, so you don't lose him, is attached with a piece of ribbon onto the neck of the hot water bottle. And it's really nice because, you know, for children with little hands, you know, they can get Santa, and you can be knocking on the door or looking in the windows, or you can be coming down the chimney. So it's really fun, and it's really cute, and it's knitted with Hayfield yarns, and one of theirs is the fluffy yarn. So all the snowy bits of the hot water bottle have got fluffy yarn, which feels so nice on your toes, doesn't it? So that's in this month's Simply Knitting magazine. And if you turn towards the back page, it says what's coming in next month's issue. You'll see there's another little knitting pattern from me next month for the Christmas Fairy Lights headband. So, you know, if you're going to a party for Christmas, you know, whether it's, I don't know, any kind of party, I suppose, even if it's just a tea party, you'll be able to wear your fairy lights headband on your head and feel really festive and, you know, and dressed for the occasion. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it, for Christmas? But yeah, that you'll find that in this month's Simply Knitting magazine. But also, sticking with Simply Knitting, the yoga lady tea cozy that was first in Simply Knitting earlier this year, way back, she's going to be available as a digital download on the TeaCosyFolk website on the 21st of November. So she'll be in there. Look, she's a yoga teacher, or I don't know, or somebody doing yoga, and she's doing that. I don't even know what the position's called, but it's, you know, where you put your legs around the back of your neck, and she's there and she's meditating, she's chilling with her legs behind her neck. I really love her little toes. Look, she's got cute little toes on her feet, and she's got her long legs. And, you know, you could do her in any colour you like, couldn't you? So you could make her look like somebody you know doing yoga, doing that funny position. But she'll be on the website as a digital download. I want to talk to you now about the Harrogate Stitching and Knitting Show, because I will be there on Sunday, the 24th of November, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. So there's, I'm doing the talk about sewing up tea cozies, and it's tips and pointers for sewing up a tea cozy, and that will be in the Creative Living Theatre, and it starts at 3 p.m. and it's free to go along, so you can come along and sit and watch, and I'll be doing that. I think it's for half an hour, the talk is, so I'll be there giving a talk. And also, oh, if you want to buy one of this year's calendars, I'll be taking the calendars with me, so if you come along, you can buy a calendar and take it with you there and there. So there's that. But also earlier in the day, about 1 o'clock, we'll be meeting where the little cafe area is. It's on the way to where the workshops are held. And there's a little cafe area there and some tables. And me and some other ladies who are going along to the show are going to meet up and have a little knit and natter. So if you would like to join us for a knit and natter and you go into the show on Sunday the 24th of November, join us, find us, come along, say hello, because we'd love to meet you. And we're all just going to be sitting knitting and talking about the show and the bargains, and it'll be great. We're going to have a lovely time. We're going to have an hour just sitting, knitting and chilling out, you know. And after you've been walking around all the stalls all morning, you'll be glad of a sit down. So we'll all have a little sit down and have a little knit, and that'll be great. And that'll be during lunchtime, I suppose, as well. So, you know, from 1 o'clock. So we'll be able to, you know, have something to eat and a coffee and a chat. It'd be really lovely. And I'd love to meet you. So please do come and join us if you're going to be there. And if you want discounted tickets, I don't know what the discount code is, I can't remember, but I'll find it and I'll put it down below. So if you look down below, there'll be a discount code. So you get, I think it's £2.50 or something, you get off the price of an entry ticket, which is, you know, it's worth having. That's an extra ball of yarn. So I'll see you there at Harrogate. In October, I had a mini break, and you know, when you go on a mini break, don't you take loads of yarn with you? I do. So I bought some lovely yarn, which was Rowan Big Wool, it's called. And I took it away with me on holiday just to play, just to, yeah. And I hadn't got much of an idea of what I wanted to do, but I'd seen this, I don't know what you call it, a knitting effect, I suppose, where you knit strips and then they kind of interlink up. It's a bit like, you know, when you've dropped a stitch and then you bring it back up. So effectively it's a ladder, isn't it? You know, like a ladder in your tights. And then you bring all the stitches up through one another to correct it. So it's like, actually it's like chunky knitting on the side of the tea cosy. And I'd seen it done and I wanted to have a go. And I'd got this lovely yarn. It's Rowan Big Wool, and it's a super chunky. It's like, I don't know, it's like knitting with candy floss. It was really nice and it was so soft. And the colours are just really bright and cheerful, and I really like them. And I don't get to knit with purple very often, you know, and I just think that the purple and the yellow, they bounce off each other so beautifully, don't they? It's just cheerful. It's just so cheerful. And these, so as you're knitting the cosy, you're creating little, well, they're loops rather than a ladder. You make a little loop. So you're making the loops as you go along, and behind is just garter stitch. And then at the end, you create these lovely chains. And they're beautiful, aren't they? They're really structural. And yeah, and they all chain up. And at the top, there's a row of bobbles, and they just pop on top of the bobble. And there's bobbles at the bottom as well. I do like bobbles. And yeah, so this was a fun tea cosy that I knitted while I was away. And I was just playing. And I called it the Chain Reaction Tea Cosy. And the pattern will be out on the website very soon. I can't remember the date. I'll have a look and let you know. I'll put it down below. But yeah, it's a lovely tea cosy, and it's knitted with that super chunky yarn. But because I'd gone, look, it's really, you can see how thick it is. But I'd gone away and I hadn't taken the recommended knitting needles with me. I was far too busy worrying about have I got my toothbrush and my swimming coggy. But so I didn't take the right knitting needles. That I think the yarn band suggested 10 to 15 millimeter knitting needles, and I'd got my 5.5 millimeter knitting needles, so that's what I knitted it on. You know, it doesn't matter if I've used the suggested needles or not, as long as I state in the pattern what I did do. So that's what I did. But anyway, it's a lovely tea cosy, and it's very structural, and it's very traditional, actually. For me, it's very traditional. It's not like a, you know, a tea cosy that looks like something. It's not trying to look like something. It just is. And I've called it the Chain Reaction Tea Cosy, and it will be coming to a teapot near you very soon, if you knit one. What I'm working on at the minute is a little hedgehog. Look, and he's hibernating. He's, you know, when you see the photos of them rolled up in a ball, and he's rolled up in a ball, and he's asleep. Look at his little face. He's asleep. He's tired, and you know. This is the time of year you always hear about hedgehogs, don't you, on the news and things, because they're telling you to check the bonfire before you light it for bonfire night in case there's a hedgehog in it. But and hedgehogs are in such decline. I remember as a child we used to see them in the gardens, and you used to see them a lot more often than you do now. I think in recent years I've only seen one, and that one had had an accident. But yeah, it's so sad because they're such cute little critters, aren't they? And you know, this one, instead of spikes, he's got a bobbly back, I suppose it is, isn't it? His body's all this bobbly texture, and he's got his little face, and he's asleep, and he's got his little paws up near his face. And this is knitted in Rowan felted tweed. And this yarn was sent to me to design a tea cosy, and it was sent from Rowan. So so this is as far as I've got. I've not finished it yet, and it is a high wool content yarn, and it's really nice. It's very soft. What I do have to be careful about, you know, when you thread the yarn through the remaining stitches and draw it up, I've been pulling it as I normally would, and look, it just breaks, and I'm having to be really gentle with it. So you do have to take care when you're knitting with this yarn, because it will snap when you're it's only at the sewing up stage. you know, during the knit, it was fine. It's just the sewing, you know, that finishing off. It's been when I've threaded through and drawn up, and then I'm pulling too hard when I draw up and the thread breaks. But yeah, but it's lovely. And what I love about it, actually, it's not one flat colour. There's lots of flecks of different colours. So, you know, there's black and blue in here, and it's called felted tweed. And it's because it's supposed to be quite tweedy, you know, and that's not flat colours, is it? It's different colours, but it is very earthy. And, you know, it's perfect for a little hedgehog, you know, because they're always in the earth, aren't they, burrowing around, and it's a natural thing. And it's, yeah, it's really well suited for doing a little hedgehog. So I've not finished him yet. I've got to, obviously you can see I've got to sew him up and finish him. But the Tea Cosy knitting pattern will be on the website in the start of December, I think. So he'll be properly hibernating by then, won't he? But yeah, another cute little tea cosy. I like the cute ones. They're nice, aren't they? I do like cute. And that's what I've got to show you for this month. And I hope to see you at the Harrogate show in November. And if I don't see you there, I will see you back here in December for another TeaCosyFolk vlog. And I look forward to seeing you then. And hopefully we'll have the Christmas trimmings up. I love it when the Christmas trimmings come out, don't you? And yeah, we'll be feeling all Christmassy. And I'll have my Christmas fairy lights on my head. That'll be a treat. And I'll see you then in December. So keep warm, keep well, keep knitting, and I'll see you soon. Bye.